This is a nautical map showing the sea routes around the Outer Hebrides. To the extreme west, past the immediate islands, lie the Flannan Isles. For centuries, humans avoided these 7 rocky outcrops. Local shepherds would bring their flocks to graze on the thick grass during the day, but a strict superstition dictated that no one remained on Eilean Mor after dark. In 1899, the British Board of Trade established a permanent human presence on the island. After 3 years of grueling construction, a state-of-the-art lighthouse was completed to provide a constant beacon along a notoriously deadly shipping lane. Operating it required deep experience. The board assigned 3 veteran keepers: James Ducat, a pragmatic man with 20 years of service; Donald MacArthur, known for his strict, uncompromising temperament; and Thomas Marshall, a capable 28-year-old assistant. These were men who understood the extreme temperament of the North Atlantic. Yet, on the night of December 15, 1900, passing ships noted that the light on Eilean Mor had gone entirely dark. The relief ship Hesperus was delayed by poor weather, finally arriving at the island on December 26th. Aboard was Joseph Moore, the 4th keeper, returning from his routine leave on the mainland. The crew immediately noted several irregularities. The island's flagpole was bare. The captain sounded the ship's horn, and when the heavy echo faded, there was no response. He fired a signal flare into the sky, but nothing moved on the cliffs. Moore was sent to shore to investigate. He found the outer gate closed. He unlocked the main entrance and stepped into a space that was perfectly still. The stove was cold. All the clocks had stopped. The beds were empty, but the sheets were neatly pulled back. He checked every room. There was no broken furniture, no scattered belongings, and no trace of an intruder or a struggle. 3 experienced mariners were gone, leaving behind nothing but secured doors, cold meals, and a silence that hasn't been broken since. When Moore reached the top of the tower, he found the main lamp exactly as it should have been. The oil reservoirs were full, the wicks were carefully trimmed, and the massive lenses were polished clean. The lamp was ready to burn, but it had never been lit. Whatever happened to the men occurred in the late afternoon, pulling them away from their posts before they could perform their primary duty for the night. Down at the west landing, the precision of the living quarters gave way to severe destruction. Heavy iron railings were bent out of shape, a supply box had been ripped open, and a life buoy, normally secured 110 feet above sea level, was gone. The thick ropes holding it hadn't been cut, they were snapped. Back inside the lighthouse, searchers found a detail that didn't fit the scene at the landing. Hanging quietly on its peg was Donald MacArthur's heavy weather coat. MacArthur was a hardened, disciplined seaman. December winds off the Scottish coast carry a freezing, bone-chilling cold that no experienced keeper would face unprotected. The physical facts clash. The damage at the landing implies a sudden, massive force from the ocean. Yet that same force somehow lured an experienced, cautious man out the door so rapidly that he left his winter coat behind. This chart compares the dates recorded in the Eilean Mor logbook against weather data from the nearest mainland stations. The records the men left behind describe a sequence of events that simply didn't happen elsewhere. The keeper's log describes a multi-day storm so severe that Ducat went silent. The strict MacArthur openly wept, and all 3 men resorted to prayer. Yet no surrounding meteorological station recorded any significant storm activity in the region during those dates. The official conclusion from the Board of Trade determined that a localized, freak rogue wave struck the West Landing while the men were securing gear, sweeping them all into the sea at once. This requires all 3 veteran keepers to simultaneously abandon protocol. To be swept away together, they would all have to be standing at the most dangerous edge of the cliff during heavy seas, rather than observing standard safety rotations. Furthermore, the ocean usually returns what it takes. In the weeks and months that followed, careful patrols of the surrounding coastlines found nothing. No bodies or torn fabric ever washed ashore. While the rogue wave offers a mechanical answer, it fails to explain the psychological details in the logbook, or why MacArthur would step into the freezing wind without his coat. When physical evidence and logic yield contradictions, human psychology often reaches back to older explanations to fill the void. The isolation of Eilean Mor had always been tied to the myth of the Blue Men of the Minch. According to Outer Hebrides folklore, these are unseen, sentient forces beneath the water that deliberately conjure localized weather anomalies to pull sailors off the rocks. A distinct legend surfaced from the day the Hesperus arrived. Joseph Moore reportedly watched 3 massive black birds lift off from the lighthouse roof just as his boat touched the island, flying silently northward into the gray sky. These stories serve as the cultural language of the coast, a way for the locals to process the reality that 3 skilled men could simply evaporate without a trace. The Northern Lighthouse Board kept Eilean Mor manned for another 70 years. Over that time, subsequent keepers reported a heavy atmosphere on the island, with several claiming to hear the names of the missing men carried on the wind. In 1971, the facility was fully automated. The last human operators packed their belongings and slowly sailed away, returning the island to its natural silence. The lighthouse was a declaration of human control, built on the premise that engineering could tame a hostile environment. Instead, the ocean erased the men sent to watch it. Today, Eilean Mor holds only a solitary machine. Every single night, it automatically rotates its massive glass lenses, casting a bright mechanical sweep over the black water, performing a task for men who never return to finish it. After 125 years of progress in navigation and forensics, the sea has yet to return a single piece of evidence. The island stands as a reminder that some forces on this earth are simply beyond our reach.